Hey, everybody. I'm realizing I don't have my phone. Hey, everyone. Hello, Anne, Robin. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming. So, today we're going to be chatting about three different herbs for insomnia. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about just the nervine herbs themselves also. I made a little list. I'm going to work on a spreadsheet and I'll chat about how I'm going to get those things together. And let me hold on one second. Need to read to you my disclaimer. I'm going to turn my camera off for 1 minute. Shoot, realizing I didn't have my disclaimer in front of me. Sorry, guys. Before we get started, just a couple of things. So, let me come back to you. All right. For anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Tammy. I'm Mountain Grandma. Welcome to my channel. Hey, Rebecca. Good to see you. Jennifer Ocean Homestead. Thanks for coming in. So this Herbal Study Hall today is going to be a little bit different than usual. Normally we're reviewing a herbal concept and we'll do like a one herb monograph. We'll have like an herbal recipe. And tonight we're doing things a little bit differently, which has me even a little flustered over here. So bear with me. But I'm going to share with you three different monographs for three different herbs that are related to insomnia. And before I do this, I need to share my disclaimer. So I'm going to share my screen to do that. Okay, I think it's this guy. All right, here we go. Disclaimer. This live is for educational purposes only. I'm not a medical professional, and nothing shared here is meant to diagnose, treat, or replace medical advice from a qualified healthcare provider. Herbalism can be supportive, but everyone's body and health history are different, so please talk with your doctor or another licensed professional before trying new herbs, especially if you're pregnant, nursing, taking medications, or managing a medical condition. This space is all about learning, studying plants, and it is not about giving personal medical advice. So I need to get that out of the way. Before I jump into the monographs, last time we met, I talked with you guys about how, different nervines are effective or they have an affinity for certain body parts. And maybe it is that they're effective with certain body parts. And I wanted to chat more about that. You can't see much. Well, maybe you can. You see, I've got a table in the works here. I'm gonna float this over to an Excel spreadsheet for myself as I'm doing these monographs, and I hope you guys don't mind me deviating from what we usually do. But one of my goals, of course, is, from previous lives, is to get my registered herbalist designation. And I want to have all of my monographs in order to do that. So probably I'm thinking like once a month, we might do a monographs only session. And I think that might be a good thing. I think sometimes people want to see more of herbs. So I hope you all don't mind if you all are, in agreement with and excited to hear about that. Let me know in the chat. So far, we've chatted about, when we're talking about nervines, we've talked about lemon balm, and ashwagandha is a little bit of one. We chatted about that also. And the last time we met, I was talking about the different ways that nervines can impact us. And I'm going to tell you about this table that I'm creating. It's in the works. I'll show it to you when I get it done. But for example, your cardiac herbs that are also nervines include hawthorn, motherwort, linden, and valerian. Meaning that when I read their monograph, I'm seeing things that specifically relate to the cardiac system. For GI, the nervines which impact your GI system include betony, chamomile, valerian, and hops. So I'm seeing those specifically mentioned for GI troubles. For head pain, or I almost want to make it pain in general. We'll see what I decide on that. But specifically headaches, betony, lemon balm, passionflower, they all had something noted about that. And again, this isn't the final list. So if you're thinking, well, hey, there's also this one, there probably is. Like I said, my list isn't done, but I've been working on this and I thought I'd share with you guys what I had so far. So for your nervous system, like think anxiety, stress, ADHD, those kinds of things. We're in the nervine class. A lot of nervines are going to be good for these things. And I think I just about wrote all of them, but I'll jot through the list with you. Blue vervain, chamomile, milky oats, lemon balm, linden, motherwort, passionflower, skullcap, rose, catnip, damiani, valerian, and hops. Interestingly enough, like all of your, well, maybe it's not interestingly, like we're in the nervous system category, but all of your nervines that are specific to insomnia are listed here. That is the linden, the motherwort, the passionflower, the skullcap, the valerian, and the hops. Again, it's not all inclusive. Anne says she's drinking lemon balm tea tonight. See, I'm off my game. I didn't share what we're all drinking. I got chamomile in my cup with honey. What you all drinking? Anne Philbeck's drinking lemon balm. Always a wonderful tea. Love lemon balm. Lemon balm is in the headache column, also in the anxiety, stress, ADHD column. And it's also in the brain column, so good for brain health. And it's also in the grief, depression, or seasonal affective disorder column. Thought I'd mention that. That one's kind of special because not all of them are like in that many places as I was looking through it. So high level, here's the columns I decided to make. This is my own little, remember, I'm studying and I'm taking you guys along with me. That's what this is all about. So I made myself columns for cardiac, GI, head pain, like headaches, nervous system. Again, that includes like if it says it's indicated for anxiety, stress, or ADHD. Hormones, because some of these are indicated for like PMS, or even perimenopause, premenopause, and menopause. So I made like a hormone column. I even threw damiani into that column because damiani is also like a sexual rejuvenative. It's an aphrodisiac that's also relaxing. And then I made a column for brain, and I made a column for grief, depression, or seasonal affective disorder. Hey, Carolina, OMA Steph, good to see you. Lori's World, hello. Thank you for coming. I hope I said hello to everybody. We've got Robin, Garden State Gardener, or Garden State So-and-so. I thought I mentioned her. Anne Philbeck, hello. And Rebecca Touched by Yarn, Jennifer Ocean Homestead. Okay, I think I got everybody. I had a wild patch of lemon balm come out of the envelope in my plastic photo case. Put them in wet paper towel. Oh, I think there's 1,000. Oh, what a wonderful thing to just have growing all over your yard. That is awesome. All right. So those were all my columns. And then as I was doing the and see, I need to make monographs for all of these. Like, I think that's might be one of the first things that I try to do is get a monograph done for all of the nervines I have listed on my paper. So it's going to be quite a few. It takes a minute. And you want to be thoughtful when you create your monographs because, it helps you learn while you're doing it. So anyways, where we leave off, head pain, I have betony, lemon balm, passionflower. And then I read through the anxiety, stress, ADHD real quickly because honestly, it's almost everything. So, the hormones, the 3 that I've come across so far, blue vervain, motherwort, and damiani. So those 3 are listed. And the brain one, I've only got 1 listed there right now, lemon balm. I mean, surely there's more. And I just, it just hasn't made my list yet. My thought is I'll make a spreadsheet. I love spreadsheets. And I'll be able to sort, right? I could sort by an herb and I'll be able to see all the beautiful things that it does. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Be super handy. And then in my grief, depression, or seasonal affective disorder, I have hawthorn, lemon balm, linden, mimosa, not the drink, the herb, and St. John's wort, which we all know about that guy, and rose. I put rose in there, but I don't even know. Yeah, rose. And then that's all my tables and listings. I hope that was helpful to you guys. Do you want to see it when I have it finished and more, polished up, I guess? If you do, drop a 1 in the chat for me. I heard an interesting thing during class today, because I had my school today, and they were talking about our topic is 5 phases according to traditional Chinese medicine. And I'm not even going to attempt to teach on TCM, but I'll throw in comments here and there. And one of the reasons I'm choosing not to teach on TCM is, for starters, I'm a student of TCM. There's other people for you to catch that stuff on. And I don't know that I would deliver it really well, but I thought it was really interesting. And I'll share this piece with you. When you're treating somebody with herbal medicine, you got to keep in mind that their acute condition, or maybe their chief complaint, is more than what it seems on the surface. And I think we all see that. We all understand that the body is all connected, and one thing can involve other things and that kind of thing. But I want to give you an example as it relates to insomnia. And I'm just saying this out loud because, again, when I tell you something I've learned, it helps me learn it more, or maybe helps me recognize where I have my own questions too. But with insomnia, that's considered like a heart related thing. Like, you need calming of the spirit. You'll see some of these terms when we go through the monographs. And the 5 phases just means wood, fire, water. I'm not doing it in order. So wood, fire, earth, water. Wait, earth, metal, water. Wait, wood, fire, earth, metal, water. There's my 5. And so wood would be the mother of fire. Fire would be the mother of earth. Earth would be the mother of metal. Okay, you got me? So if wood is the mother of fire, then fire is the child of wood. Okay, that's this is called the engendering phase. Here's the thing. Wood is tied to your liver. Fire is tied to your heart. Not obviously physically speaking. It just means that in this phase group, in the 5 phases, the wood phase, organ of the wood phase is wood. The organ of the fire phase is heart. So insomnia falls in the fire phase, in the heart, right? Well, your fire phase can get out of sync, or, maybe too hot, too much fire. If your wood is out of sync, in other words, if you've got more wood on the stove, the fire is going to burn higher. Think of it like that. So there's your wood and fire phases. There's a very little brief introduction. But this also means that if somebody has an insomnia problem, you're not necessarily going to look to the heart. You're going to treat the liver. So just saying. And this is helpful, and we'll get into that more, but keep that in mind. If you're trying to treat one problem, going to sleep probably isn't the only problem that you have. Don't get me wrong. If you can get to sleep and get some decent rest, it's going to be amazing. And there's going to be a lot of things that get fixed just from you being able to do that. So you do want to help somebody be able to get the rest that they need. You just need to understand they probably need more than that, because there's probably more going on. Did that make sense? All right, and now I am going to share my screen. Whoops, wrong one. It's this guy. Okay. And we will chat about Passionflower first. Okay, now let me minimize that so I can see you guys. Whoopsie. Okay. So here is the beautiful picture of the Passionflower. Isn't it gorgeous? Such a gorgeous plant. And this plant, let me see if I can make it a little bigger for you. There we go. How's that? All right. So Passionflower, Passiflora incarnata. There are other kinds of Passionflower out there, but according to what I read, this version or this, species is the best one for herbal medicine. The other ones might be weaker. You'd need to look them up independently. It's in the plant family Passifloraceae, so like it has its own plant family. It is a woody vine with, fine hairs on it that likes to climb trees and walls. The stems can be anywhere from 12 to 26 feet in length. Climbs by tendrils. Flowers bloom from May to July. Wait, this is wrong. Oh, no, it's not. May to July are milky white and with purple, blue, or pink calyx crowns. Has anybody grown these? I'm seeing Carolina OMA Steph says they grow wild. Oh, I'm sure that the bees will love that flower. Saying that grows, that's awesome. Awesome stuff. It's hardy in zones 6 to 10, prefers full sun, but it can take some partial shade. It grows best in well-drained, moderately fertile soil, 6 to 7 pH. And they made it a point to say, keep the soil consistently moist, but not soggy, especially during establishment and not hot weather, but hot. Not hot water, but hot weather. Let me fix my typo. Oh, you have some of those, Anne? I don't have any of those seeds, I don't think. I would love to get some, though. Such a beautiful plant, too. So the parts used are the leaves and flowers, and the fruit, often called maypop, is actually a food. So speaking of constituents, flavonoids are the main thing. And those are the things that actually contribute to the anxiolytic, meaning anti-anxiety, and sedative effects. And they do provide some antioxidant activity as well. There's also the leaves that contain this specific kind of alkaloid, harmine alkaloids, and they also contain the flavonoids, sterols, gums, and sugars. It contains a maltol, a compound that has mild sedative properties and contributes just a little bit to the plant's aroma. Additional compounds that are in smaller amounts include phenolic acids, coumarins, volatile oils, and tannins that contribute overall to antioxidant activity, mild astringency, overall phytochemical complexity. Oh, let me see what you say. You put seeds in for the passionflower? Oh, Robin, you need to share in your community tab for those when they come up. Would love to see that. Or a video, even better. Vitamins and minerals. So vitamin C, carotenoids, small amounts of B vitamins. That's where your antioxidant and metabolic support comes from. And then also magnesium, calcium, potassium, phosphorus, iron, and manganese. So some trace nutrients here. As I said, guys, when you're drinking your tea, it's almost like drinking your veggies. You should really think about drinking it more often. And I was thinking as I was drinking this, I was like, man, I really wish I had some of I make this one, it's a ginger lime tea, but it's not just, I put the lime in there, squeeze lime juice in it, and it has ginger in it, but it's a blend that has nettle and all kinds of other good things in there, almost like a 1-a-day vitamin. It's really good, though, and I put it in the fridge. I put it in bottles for myself and put it in the fridge. Love it. And it's getting time for that because it was a warm day. Herbal energetics of passionflower. It's cooling and relaxing and drying. The leaves are, in terms of flavor, bitter and cool, while the fruit is sour, sweet, and cool. So overall, a very cooling herb. So when we're talking about insomnia, also, the energetics of this match really nicely, because if your insomnia in TCM terms is due to a little bit of heart fire, then this cooling is going to really help to cool things down. Actions. It's an alterative, which means blood purifier. And it has also been known to be anti-cancer, antifungal, antiseptic, and astringent. Additional actions. It's a nervine, relaxant, sedative, anodyne, which means it's pain-killing, has pain-killing effects, analgesic, antispasmodic, hypotensive, and a cerebral vasorelaxant. All right. Any questions so far? So traditional uses. Passionflower is referred to as an ideal medicine to give to hyperactive kids or adults, so ADHD folks, as well as senior citizens suffering from tranquilizer addictions. In other words, it's going to help with getting people off of those. Also works well for insomnia and nervous tensions. I put the author in parentheses here for which book I got this from, and I'll show you the references for the books here in just a minute. Used for restless agitation and exhaustion, nervous headache, neuralgia, irritation of the brain and nervous system, convulsions of childhood, infantile nervous irritation, tetanus, and in epilepsy. So with this restless agitation, think like restless leg syndrome. This would be another one that should be helpful with that. TCM effects, calms the Shen. Remember we talked about that. Calms the Shen. The Shen is housed in the heart. I'm going to throw in little TCM stuff. You know, if you hear it enough, you might start to catch on, and then you might be like, hey, I really like this TCM way of diagnosing and treating subjects. I should check out the school. But those effects include calms the Shen, so used for insomnia, restless agitation, and excessive thinking. Anyone else here an excessive thinker? Clears heat. So like we mentioned earlier, it's going to be great for that heart fire and any liver fire, heat in the liver. Anchors the yang, which means it's helpful when liver yang is rising. Think irritability, headaches, hypertension. Did I put on my head pain? Okay, I got on my head pain column. Dispels wind and internal wind. It's not gas. Just saying that's not what that means. But that refers to tremors, spasms, migraines, and it resolves liver qi stagnation, like emotional tension, ruminating thoughts, and stress patterns. And it relieves cough, which could be a mild lung-related action for coughs and asthma. And Steph said Passionflower added to her tea mix does help with restless leg. Okay, cool. TCM channels entered are the heart, liver, and the lung. So some safety considerations and precautions. Because of its calming effects in the nervous system, it might enhance the effects of any sedative medications if you're on them, such as sleep medications, anti-anxiety drugs, barbiturates, and benzodiazepines. I think I spelled this wrong. Hold on. Let me fix my typo. I don't know. It doesn't like that. Okay, I'll figure it out later. And also caution recommended during pregnancy and with children. Adjust dosages appropriately. And I don't want to talk about that stuff here. Too much liability. So preparation type, standard infusion, 4 to 8 ounces, up to 4 times a day. I mean, the truth is, I had somebody ask me after the last live, they had Passionflower, and they asked me like how much they should drink. And I suggested, take a few drinks, set it down, come back later. See how you're doing. She said she took just a couple of drinks of it and she went straight to sleep. But she was using it as a single, meaning that she was using it as, it was just that herb in the tea. Normally, this herb is going to be combined with other herbs in a tea blend. So keep that in mind. Tincture, here's some, I won't read over, the tincture recipe here. If you all have questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. I did a video on how to make tinctures the way that herbalists do, or, if you buy them and they say like 1 to 2, 95% alcohol, for example, I did a video on how to make that. 2 to 8 milliliters up to 4 times daily. I would even suggest starting with drops. Always start any tincture with drops. A glycerite, 3 to 10 milliliters up to 4 times daily. So these are the books that I used, and I don't have them all right next to me. But Miracle Healing Herbs, the Modern Herbal Dispensatory. I do have this one next to me, this guy. And The Way of Herbs. I used this one for several of these. So those were the books I used. Couple of really interesting clinical trials here. So this first one, 2025, it was a randomized controlled trial on stress and insomnia. That was the title of it. And it was randomized double blind, which is good. placebo-controlled, also good, multicentric, so they had more than one center involved. And this trial, they basically looked at 8 weeks of, wait, hold on. Extracting participants with stress. So they compared Passionflower to a placebo effect. And what they found was there was a significant reduction in stress scores in the Passionflower group, improved sleep time and sleep quality versus placebo, improved psychological well-being using the GHQ-12 test, and no adverse events reported. So that was kind of cool. And then this 2020 systematic review neuropsychiatric disorders, the conditions that were studied for that included anxiety, stress, insomnia, and depression. And the key findings were that most trials showed reduced anxiety after Passionflower administration. Oops, I got to put space there. Benefits were less pronounced in the mild anxiety. No adverse cognitive effects, for example, memory loss, reported. And the study durations ranged from 1 day to 30 days. So it was just a comprehensive study that reviewed 9 randomized clinical trials. So I thought that was a really cool one also. Just a little comment here for nervousness and insomnia. Michael Tierra, this book, suggests combining equal parts Passionflower, skullcap, wood betony, valerian, and a half part each of licorice and ginger for nervousness and insomnia. Any questions on that? All right, let me stop sharing so I can share the next one. So let's do Valerian. That's a fun one. Look at this beautiful plant. I have seen the flowers here look more lavender colored or pink. And when I was looking these up, I actually found some that were white flowers. And I would just want to point out, do you see how they kind of flower out in an umbrella fashion? Very similar to some toxic herbs. So if you're wild foraging, don't go by this picture and make sure you do your homework. Righty. So the Valerian, let me move back up here. Valeriana officinalis is the Latin name for this herb. And it falls in the Caprifoliaceae family. It was formerly in the Valerianaceae family, but now they've added it over to the honeysuckle family, which is the Caprifoliaceae family. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I do too, Anne. I really like, it tastes kind of bad, so tincture is nice for this one. It is a tall perennial, 3 to 5 feet in height. Small, like I mentioned, pale to pink white flowers. And the leaves, as you can see, are divided in 6 to 11 pairs. This guy right here, see how they're all divided? There's some other plants that are like that too. Hey, Penny, good to see you. Oh, I'm sorry you're not feeling good. Reach out to me if you have any questions or, want to know about any herby things that might help. All right, so blooms early to midsummer and a thick branched rhizome with many stringy roots. So see here, this guy kind of looks like a centipede. That's what it reminded me of when I saw it. So this is the part that gets used. All right, so the constituents, let me see if I can make this a little bigger for you guys. Hold on. Yeah. One more time. Here we go. So there's a lot of constituents in it, including volatile oils, and I won't read each one of them. Something called valipotriates, and all kinds of stuff. Flavonoids, lignans, other components, your triterpenes, your phytosterols, but all of these compounds work together to give valerian root its characteristic aroma. and its traditional use as a calming sedative and spasmolytic, in other words, antispasmodic. And it's a smell that you have to get used to. The first time that I made a tincture of this, the entire household came out to see what in the world I was doing in the kitchen because of the smell. So be prepared for that. Hey, Tamara, good to see you. Vitamins and minerals, it does present with vitamin C, vitamin A, B vitamins. A lot of your nervines are going to have B vitamins because it's one of the things that, you know, makes them so good for your nerves. Minerals, including calcium, magnesium, potassium, iron, manganese, phosphorus, and small amounts of zinc and silica. Those are in trace amounts, but they're still there. It's not necessarily a high nutrient tonic herb like your nettle or your oat straw. But those micronutrients, you know, are valuable, and they do help it to be a nervous system trophorestorative. It's slightly warming, aromatic, sweet, and spicy. And the actions. So sedative, relaxing nervine, antispasmodic, anticonvulsant, hypotensive, analgesic, so pain killing, and it's a soporific, meaning it's a hypnotic as well. It's used for restlessness, hysteria, emotional stress, pain, insomnia, anxiety, nervous palpitations, nervous irritation, cardiovascular arrhythmias, ADHD, gastrointestinal cramping, menstrual cramps, shingles, backaches, RLS, as well as insomnia with itching and muscle spasms at night, and rheumatic pains in the limbs with sciatica and jerking. So, Steph, I'm betting this one might be in your RLS tea, maybe. Penny said she's been growing valerian root for years. Oh, okay. And she powders it and fills pill capsules to use. Oh, yeah, the smell's something else, huh? I actually made a tea that's pretty tolerable. I like it, and I call it my sleepy time tea. And this is one of the ingredients, and I have hops in there also, which we're going to talk about hops here in just a minute. That's the other one that I'm doing. So on my little list here, I've got valerian under cardiac. I have it under GI. And, you know, this is where I said I might break my column down that has head pain, because maybe I should just put pain, because I couldn't put it under, it didn't say head pain. I mean, maybe it is. Penny, have you ever used it for headaches? Has anybody used it for headaches? I used it. You're going to see this next. Also a great herb for fear. And I learned this from playing the kids' herb game. Hey, Mona did what? So I tried it. I tried it before I went to the dentist office because I have a horrible phobia of going to the dentist. And usually my hands shake and everything. And I was pretty darn calm, I have to say. I did not have fear. I would say it worked as well as the gas, whatever that, I'm drawing a blank on it, you know, because here in Missouri, for whatever reason, nobody wants to let you have the gas stuff. I don't know why. But in Arizona, I would get the gas stuff for just about anything being done. If you're going to clean my teeth, give me the gas. And it does work 100%. And again, I learned that on my kids' board game, my grandbaby's board game that I had bought them. And then I went and looked it up in my books too. But it's not something that's often out there. So I thought I'd share that. That's why it's good to use multiple references. Want to add that too, because you could have one book tell you something and another book's going to leave it out. And it could be the same thing for side effects, and make sure you have side effects and contraindications book too. But I have valerian under cardiac. I have it under GI. I have it under nervous for the anxiety, stress, ADHD part. And yeah, all three of those guys. Normally I didn't get headaches much, but I have a friend that gets it from her for headaches. She says it works really well. Okay. Adding up here to head pain. Thank you. Yeah. Supposed to be great for rheumatic pains also. So anybody who might be having difficulty sleeping might be something to include in a formula for someone. TCM actions. Calms the Shen, so used for neurasthenia, insomnia, agitation. Stops bleeding. And I'm going to have to ask my instructor about this one because this kind of threw me a little bit. The stops bleeding, traditionally used for traumatic injury and irregular menstruation, but then it also says moves blood and alleviates pain. Lumbago, traumatic injury, dyspepsia, pain from blood stagnation. Blood stagnation, it's a TCM term. Basically, anywhere you have pain, you have evidence of stagnation. So it could be chi stagnation, could be blood stagnation, could be both. So that's what this is talking about. So I'm going to have to ask about this or dig into it a little further because I found it in 2 different places. All right, and I already said this because I'm using different references, but explicitly listed in Eastern TCM section, anxiety, insomnia, and palpitations. Probably palpitations due to the anxiety. Safety consideration. If taking pentobarbital, the sleeping time will be increased. It's been shown to potentiate the action of barbiturates in general. It's not recommended for persons with hot disorders, like anybody who's high-strung, nervous, excitable. That would be, me. Skullcap or Passionflower are better for these types of people. So it's contraindicated in yin deficiency. And that's another TCM thing. But one thing about Valerian, a couple things I want to point out is your whole body shakes like a chihuahua. Tamara, yes. I had a water bottle in my hands, and I was in the chair. They're up in my grill. And the dentist says, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to just relax and I'll be back. And I'm like, okay. When the seat pushes back up, I realize I've squished my water bottle and I'm like, and I didn't even know. I thought I was being good. So yeah, I feel you on that. It does work for you, but it's only short-term relief. How short-term, Penny? Have you noticed? Like, does it allow you to sleep for 3 to 4 hours, or what do you mean by short-term? If you could quantify that for me, I would love to hear it. The other thing I want to mention about I never finished my thought before I traveled over to something else. Sorry, guys. So Valerian is also an herb that may work for some people, may not work for others, which all herbs are like that. But with valerian root, for some people, it does not make them sleepy at all. And it is something that you could kind of predict. And you predict it by somebody who has a personality, if they're kind of high strung, excitable. That person, it might not work for. Like, for example, I took it for fear for going to the dentist office. I knew it was not going to put me to sleep. And I didn't sleep when I got back home either. So I'm one of those people that it won't put me to sleep, but it will relax you. So just saying. And Penny said it helps with her restless legs, but 3 hours, no more. Penny, I think you weren't here yet when we went through Passionflower, but Passionflower is another one that's supposed to be good for restless leg syndrome. Preparation type dosage. So infusion, 30 minutes before bedtime. Tincture, 10 drops to 3 milliliters. Rule of thumb for me. Oops, I got a typo again. If they say 10, I do 5. I always start with drops. If I ever, try a tincture for the first time or encourage somebody else to. And again, do your own research. Make sure you're being careful with your own health, But I always start with drops. And if it says 10, I'll start with 5. Just saying. Just because, we're all individual, unique people, biologies, right? And you just want to make sure. So capsules, 500 to 1,000 milligrams, 30 minutes before bed for insomnia, or up to 4 times daily for mild pain or stress. Usually a capsule, if you're making your own, like the standard, I think it's 00 capsule, is going to typically be about 500 milligrams. You can weigh it out, but usually that's about what it is. How about for late night foot and lower leg cramps? The thing about leg and foot cramping, the first thing I want to look at before I think about any herbs is your minerals. Like, are you deficient in calcium, magnesium? Like, those are the things that start to come to mind for me. And one time when the Atkins diet, remember the Atkins diet? Now they call it the keto diet. When that came out, I was doing that and I was reading the book. I only made it like 4 days. But anyways, on day number 3, I had the worst leg cramps in the middle of the night. And then I woke up and I read, you need to take a calcium and magnesium supplement because when you're on this diet plan, you could have night cramping, leg cramps. I've got people in the chat agreeing. So I experienced it firsthand, and then I did that and I was fine. Yep, vitamin or mineral. Which is great news, right? By the way, sometimes magnesium, if you have acid reflux or anybody that struggles with that, and I know this from firsthand experience. Oh, look at Ann Philbeck's suggestion. Magnesium cream. Great idea. Acid reflux, magnesium, like your magnesium citrate, or, the little small round one, not one that's in a capsule, the little small round one, the cheap kind. You could take that and it gets rid of acid reflux. Works. All right. So we talked about did we talk about my okay. So here you can see The Way of the Herbs. That was the book I used. Medicine from the Heart of the Earth. I think I showed this guy. And then for the TCM stuff, I referenced these 2 websites also. All right, so non-clinical trials and clinical trials. I found if I can find clinical trials, I want to share those with you guys first. So there was this 2024 sleep complaint advances in therapy trial, and it was giving the standardized extract to improve overall sleep quality. And it was also randomized, double blind. Those are always good names you want to see if you're looking at something and they're saying their source is a clinical trial. Randomized, double blind, placebo controlled. That's like really good. Key findings in this were in adults with general sleep complaints, 8 weeks of standardized Valerian tincture produced statistically significant improvements in subjective and objective sleep. The difference between that is there was this study or test. It's called the Pittsburgh something or another, but there's a way that they measure the sleep quality. And then they also, one of these studies had people wear a bracelet or something. But the difference between subjective and objective is that they have a defined way, and then they also have a way where the patients can say, I've been sleeping great. I feel like I've been doing a lot better. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it's this. So that's one of them. And then the more defined way is by using a test. So they're saying they did both of those. And they also saw that they had secondary benefits, meaning reduced anxiety and reduced daytime sleepiness. And the valerian was also tolerated well. So that's the first trial. And I kind of put in here in parentheses, 80 adults taking valerian for 8 weeks. So that was your patient population right there. And then there was another study I found, 2024, and it was a single dose acute sleep trial. I didn't have access to the full journal article, and in the abstract, it didn't tell me what the dose was, but that's okay. We have our information from our textbooks, on what appropriate dosages are. But the key findings of the single dose study of the effectiveness of valerian showed that the effects are not only cumulative, as you could see in that first study, but there's evidence that there's an acute benefit, meaning that a single dose will help somebody sleep. So that was also a single dose study, and it was adults only. I do include this in my sleepy time blend. Anybody have any questions? I'll quit sharing for a minute. All right, I'll go ahead and move on to our last one, which is hops. Let's see, where is it? Here it is. Okay. Over here. Let me get this blown up for you guys a little bit. Are you all enjoying this chat? Is this helpful? Do you like the idea of me doing this once a month? Can you let me know in the chat if you feel like I'm on the right track with sharing this level of information? And by the way, there was a couple of you that let me know either by email or through a comment that you all shared this out with people, with like friends and family and stuff. And I just wanted to say thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate you all. Oh my goodness. And we got to do a drawing tonight, remember? All right. If anybody has not yet left a comment on last week's live, go leave a comment, even if it's a real quick one, because I want to make sure you all are in the drawing, because I'm going to do a drawing here in a minute for a giveaway. Hey, Heather. Heather, if you have not yet left, I don't know why I have a hard time saying that, a comment on last week's Herbal Study Hall live, go leave a comment over there real quick and then come back, because I'm going to do a drawing and it's for a giveaway. Going to do a giveaway tonight. To all of you guys, love you guys, and just appreciate you so much. Okay, let's talk about hops real quick. Humulus lupulus, which is the funniest name, also called Pijiahua. That's the Chinese name. You could see this picture of it. Isn't it beautiful? This sucker vines. I mean, it could vine all the way up to your rooftop. It vines like crazy, and I think it's just gorgeous. And interestingly enough, it's in the Cannabicaceae plant family. This is the same as the cannabis plant. Obviously, there's no cannabinoids in it, or at least, the kinds that are illegal in some states. But I thought that was interesting that it's in the cannabis plant family. And so 15 to 25 feet in a single season. So I thought that was pretty fascinating. Heather grew this on her trellises. Oh, that's so awesome, Heather. You'll have to tell me if you harvested any of it too. So twining, it's covered in fine hairs that has opposite 3 to 5 lobe serrated leaves with a rough texture. And the flowers are actually these cones that you see. This is the female plant. Male flowers are going to be small, yellow, and inconspicuous. I just think it's so beautiful. It thrives in full sun, prefers morning sun and afternoon shade if it's very hot. And it prefers well-draining to loamy soil, pH of 6 to 7.5. Thank you, Penny. Hey, Urban Roots and Remedies. I may have to find a start somewhere. Urban Roots and Remedies. I'm going to be doing a drawing here in a minute. And to be in that giveaway, you have to have left a comment on last week's live. You're here, so I don't want you to miss out. You can pop over there. Last week's Herbal Study Hall live. Just leave a quick comment. You can say whatever you want. Peekaboo. It doesn't matter. All right. So gardening considerations. It thrives in full sun. We mentioned the soil. You got to be careful about waterlogging it until it's well established. Plant 3 to 5 feet apart. It is a heavy nitrogen feeder. So you don't want to plant it next to anything else that's going to be, sucking up a lot of nitrogen. It is sensitive to aphids, spider mites, powdery mildew, and downy mildew. And time for harvest is late summer to early autumn. And the parts used are those female cones. And yep. Interesting side topic. It is one of the top used herbs, separated from coffee and tea because of the use in beer. So the main constituents are the bitter acids, but I thought this was hugely interesting to me. It has digestive support because the lupulon and humulone are both ingredients that kill gram-positive and acid-fast bacteria. such as strains of Staphylococcus. And then there's some essential oils in here and some flavonoids that give it the antioxidant property. They do contain some vitamins and minerals like, your regular potassium, magnesium, some B vitamins. But the main benefits come from the aromatic oils and the bitter compounds, which help calm the nervous system and support sleep. So I found one place where it said cooling, and then I found where TCM says it's warming, so I changed it to warming, but I didn't get rid of my comment. That's what that's all about. It's bitter. Everybody, so you know how beer tastes, right? Beer's made from hops, so bitter, acrid, aromatic. I mean, it doesn't taste exactly like beer, but just saying. It's antimicrobial, a potent sedative, hypnotic, and phytoestrogen. Digestive tonic, diuretic, antibacterial due to the lupulin and humulone. I think I misspelled that. And the TCM channels entered include the heart, spleen, and stomach. Antimicrobial activity helps with the dysbiosis for gut health. It's a sedative nervine, so calms the nervous system. And it can support digestion. It helps promote restful sleep. 2 tablespoons may also be taken orally on an empty stomach to help fight infection internally. And I'm referencing something from my references here, and I'll share those with you in a minute. And I thought this was really interesting. Topically, it's used to fight staph infections due to the antibacterial property that's very specific to gram-positive infections like Staphylococcus. Terrence and I have hops. That's funny. In TCM, it quiets the spirit, harmonizes the stomach and liver, and disperses food, stops pain, both internally and externally. Did I have up here that it was an anodyne or an analgesic? Did we get to that yet? Hold on, guys. Checking my notes. Maybe I didn't get to it yet. Did I pass it? Oh, there it is. Let me put a note here. All right, so y'all seeing how I study. Before I finalize these notes, because I'm finalizing them, right? And then I'm putting them in a binder and saving them digitally, but I like to check my stuff. So what I'll do is, if you ever come across any information and you're not sure of it, don't just accept it. You need to make sure you do your research. Check valid resources, check your valid textbooks. And I have some Chinese TCM herbal medicine check textbooks. Sorry, guys. That really you can only purchase if you're part of a class. So I try to check stuff like that. Okay. Moving on. Where were we? Okay. So pregnancy and breastfeeding. These are all our safety considerations. Avoid high doses. It may have sedative effects and could theoretically affect uterine tone. It increases drowsiness. This is interesting. Caution if combined with alcohol because, beer. Prescription sleep aids or sedative medications. Rare allergic reactions are possible, especially if anybody is sensitive or allergic to cannabis or any other plants in the Cannabicaceae family. Skin contact with fresh plants can occasionally cause mild dermatitis. Heather, did your hops result in mild dermatitis on your hands when you were, harvesting? Will your monograph be available for download? So urban roots and remedies. I'm trying to find a good way to get all of my notes together. Right now, I'm working through a series of herbal energetics. And when I get all through them, I want to get them all cleaned up and nice. And then I was going to provide them to I was thinking maybe I could provide to members who are members to my channel, or maybe just offer them up for sale. But those are the things I'm considering. I haven't decided yet, and I want to make sure I got everything straight. Yeah, Steph. See? So I know this hormonal effects contains phytoestrogens. If you ever see that a plant contains phytoestrogens, you need to be very careful. and who uses these, whether it's yourself or somebody else that you're treating. For example, certain breast cancers are estrogen sensitive. Also, drug interactions, they may enhance CNS depressants, leading to excessive drowsiness, and potential interaction with blood thinners is minimal but not fully studied. Dosage, standard medicinal. Oh, did I put it in here? Hold on. Oh, that's a risk. It's going to be like, oh no, I left out the dosage. Excessive consumption can lead to over sedation. Think like too many beers. I don't drink beer either. I'm with you on that, Anne. I mean, when I was younger, but you know, you get older and it's just not fun. TCM, use with caution with yin vacuity, especially stomach yin vacuity. So there's that note here. Preparation, 1 to 2 teaspoons of the dried flour, which is those female cones, in a cup of hot water, steep for 10 to 15 minutes, 1 to 3 cups per day, preferably 1 hour before bedtime. Remember, valerian root was 30 minutes prior and hops is 1 hour prior. So that, I thought that was also interesting. And then, hold on, making sure you all are seeing what I'm saying. Okay. You could also take it in capsule form if you like. You know, there's things I take in capsule form, and then I try not to have too many things to take in capsule form because the little capsules, I just don't want my stomach full of a bunch of little capsules. And I know it might sound silly, but I think about that. I think about those. These are the things I think about. So capsules, though, 300 to 500 milligrams dried powder, 1 to 2 capsules daily. Again, your timing on that is going to be key. And then the topical or the compress. And this was, I think I had it in The Way of Herbs, Michael Tierra's book, but it can be used in herbal baths or compresses for mild relaxation. There's no standard dosage for topical use, but the tincture can be applied topically with some cotton to bed sores caused by hospital-induced staph infections. And clean strips of gauze may also be saturated in this tincture and then used to dress wounds so that they heal more rapidly. 2 tablespoons may also be taken orally on an empty stomach to help fight infection internally. And I thought that was really cool because it's kind of like, it shows you that this herb has some triage, first aid sort of use to it. And I love it when I have an herb that has more than one use. Okay. Just a little, sorry guys, I got a fly over here harassing me. Combined with Bao He Wan for children with abdominal pain or sleeplessness associated with food stagnation. Combined with skullcap and California poppy for anxiety, irritability, and difficulty sleeping due to constraint of liver qi. This combination can be used to try these symptoms and when others arise when patients are trying to quit smoking. So another herb that can be used to help somebody who is trying to break an addiction. And I love, again, about herbs that have some kind of help in places like this. Are capsules considered microplastics to some? You know, Tamara, I mean, they're supposed to dissolve in our systems. I don't think they're supposed to be like made from glycerin or something, but I just don't feel comfortable. I would, you know, I don't know just how many you got in there that you're taking and how often. I don't know. Yeah, it does sound like an awesome herb. Hey, Lori, thanks for coming. All right. So, this is Thomas Avery Garon. He's my instructor. Western herbs according to traditional Chinese medicine. I love it. The way he talks about Western herbs, how they're used for TCM is really awesome. The Herbal Medicine from the Heart, Miracle Healing Herbs. So it might have been this book, Garon's book that I got. No, I got it from number 3, Miracle Healing Herbs. That's where it came. Sorry, guys, you're hearing my train of thought, out loud thinking. So a couple of great studies here. I'm trying to hurry because I know we're supposed to be over at 7. Hang in there. We're going to do the giveaway in just a minute. So showed analgesic and increased sleeping times. They also confirmed the traditional use of hot preparations in nervousness, anxiety, and sleep disorders was clearly confirmed by their own findings in 3 test models. And it's one of the most consumed herbs in the world next to tea and coffee. All right, so that's that. Let me quit sharing real quick. And then let me pull up the wheel and hold on. I'm going to block my camera because I know when I go over here, it's going to freeze me up and, make me look ridiculous. Let's see. YouTube comment picker. Donde. Wait, that doesn't look like it. Where's my YouTube comment picker? Oh no. Bear with me, guys. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. This is what it looks like. Okay. Now let me go to YouTube and pull that link for that video. Almost there. Okay, I'm going to drop this in. Now let me share my screen. Hold on. Close that out. Okay, take me off of that share screen. And we're going to go to this guy. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're going to go to, oh yeah, I guess it is this guy. Okay. All right. All right, so I've got the video thing here, and I can't see you all while I'm doing this. All right, do our math number, add comment replies, filter duplicate users. That's it. Number of winners 1, 9. YouTube comments. What? This video has comments disabled. What? No. All right, hang on. Oh, I did. I used the wrong one. Sorry. Now I know what I did. It's this guy. Wait, isn't it? Nope. Yep, it's this guy. Copy. Do you ever feel like if there is a way to screw something up? Just saying. All right, let me come back over here. I'm going to quit sharing real quick. No, I won't. Let's just do this. I don't have my phone. I can't see anybody's comments too. All right, 10. Get YouTube comments. Okay, 15 unique comments. Now let's scroll down. I hope that the winner is somebody that's here. Okay, we're going to hit start. Good luck, everybody. And the winner is Christine over at Mrs. Gilliam Farms. Awesome. Thank you, Christine, for watching and supporting this live. Really appreciate you. Appreciate everybody else too. To all my members, I'm going to be doing a drawing for members this week also. Be on the lookout. And Christine, you need to email me your address so I can mail you your prize. Hope you all have a great rest of your night and a great rest of your week. We'll see you next Tuesday, where we're finally going to talk about some tonics, unless I come up with something else. See you then. Bye, everybody.